Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's some ordinary Ravens fan here, and I know what you all are thinking right now. You're not some ordinary Ravens fan. You're ATL-ish. No, don't tell me I got this. ATL-ish, sure. ATL-ish Sharion. Yes, how you doing? It's ATL-ish Sharion here, and I know what a lot of you are thinking now. So, what is this video about? Well, it is about the aforementioned in the title garbage that is known as the national and at sometimes local news media and their crusade, their absolute bias, their absolute ludicrous opinions as it pertains to the medium of video games, especially on how violent they are. Now, let me address the parents first off right here by yourself. Hi, ATL-ish Sharion, parent. Hi, Mikasa, Esukasa. Okay, we're going to break this down slowly, okay? Now, when your child gets sick, hurt, and needs some aspirin or some sort of medication, when you go to your Walmart, your local pharmacy, or whatever, and your doctor isn't available, you don't go ask your doctor, because as I said, they're not available. So what do? You actually pick up the medicine and go, oh, my child is allergic to that. Put that back on the shelf. Oh, okay, everything seems to check out. Then you go make an informed purchase knowing that your negligence won't somehow harm your child in the long run. And hey, guess what? You made a smart purchase. You were on top of your game. You used your wit, and there you go. You succeeded in making your child feel better for the next few hours, or at least well enough until they can go see the doctor. So with that said, why don't you do the same with video games? You just walk in. Just because you get a video game does not give you an excuse to just say, here you go, Timmy. Here you go, Susie. Here you go, Kelly. Just be alone for 6 hours so you can stay out of my hair. That is not what video games are for. They are a medium of entertainment, much like movies. So with that said, when you see a game like this, Mortal Kombat, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe this game is for my child. Well, can you see this thing down here? See this little box? It says mature, 17 plus, meaning you have to be the age of 17 or older to actually get this game. Now, what does that mean? That means the video game companies are telling you what is okay and what isn't for people of certain age groups. So if you have a 13-year-old and you see this game and you're having your doubts, don't get this game for little Timmy. Don't do it. It's not for him. This is not who it's made for. And then on the back, what do you see here? Oh yeah, that's right. You see the phrase, fatality lives. Now, for those of you who don't know, fatality means death. It means someone has died. That means someone has reached their expiration date or was murdered in some way, shape, or form. So what does that mean? That means, ta-da, you guessed it, probably not right for someone who's 8 years old. And trust me, there are a lot of 8-year-olds playing this game for whatever ungodly known reason. But with that said, that means their parents must have A, thought it was okay for their child because they think their child is mature enough to handle it, or B, they didn't do their research, and then if their child becomes a killer who tries to replicate something they've seen in this game because they got it into their psyche at such an early age and such an early stage in their child development cycle, guess what? They're not going to blame their child. They're not going to blame their negligence. No, they're going to blame a game that told you that your child wasn't ready. That's what they're going to blame. Now, let me take it to my next step. See this right here? Yeah, this is Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, which is the celebration of the first Halo game on the original Xbox. Now, I'm going to show you something about both of these games. They're both very violent. Both have rated M. But you remember how I was going back to my pharmacy example earlier about how you actually read the back? Well, here you go. See right here on the back? It tells you specifically what you need to avoid in this game. In Mortal Kombat, you have to worry about blood and gore, intense violence, partial nudity, and strong language, which means they're not hiding anything from you. You just don't look for it. You think because it's a video game and video games are quote-unquote for kids, it's okay to just pick anything off the shelves and throw them like darts at your child. Well, it's not okay. You want to blame video games? Be a parent. Step up to the plate. Actually learn about what you're doing. Learn about what you're getting your child into. I mean, if I'm just selling on the street with a box and it just says for kids on it, I'm just like, here you go, and it turns out to be a real gun, hey, guess what? You're probably going to be screwed and pissed off at the person who gave it to you, but guess what? You're going to be smarter than that. If you do buy a random box off a stranger, and I don't know why you would, but for the sake of the example, let's go with it. You do buy the box. You do see it says for kids on the side. You're not just going to toss it to your child, here you go, Timmy, and not know what's in it. No, you're going to open up the box, You're going to see if it's real. You're going to see what goes on. You could weigh the pros and cons of giving this to your child. You're like, my child's not ready for this. This is stupid. And you're going to put it in the basement or, try and give it back. You're not going to give this to your child. So why would you do the same with video games when you're getting it from a stranger? The person who's on the other side of the sales counter who gives you something. You're not just going to go, oh, time to give it to my child. No, you might want to do your research. You might want to get some prerequisite knowledge before just throwing your child into the wolf's den, into the fire, so to speak, without even knowing what they could possibly be getting into, experiencing, seeing, or getting into their head as a good idea. And there's something else you have to break down to your child. Video games are meant as a means of entertainment, much like movies, means of entertainment. You need to make sure that point is the first point you get across to your child if you think your child is not up to snuff in the whole maturity category as it pertains to actually controlling and doing whatever it is your video game objectives are set forth in the game. So with that said, I've played video games like Mortal Kombat, Halos, Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem since I popped out the womb. And yes, I may be more mature than my peers at times, but that doesn't mean I'm some godly saint who's just the greatest thing ever. But no, I don't have a criminal record, never been in lockup, never had any of those negative things in my life, okay? My parents have both broken it down to me. This was entertainment. I knew what I was getting into. So with that said, when the aforementioned information is present, you need to understand that it's you who needs to take responsibility. And yes, you don't need to be blaming video games. What you need to blame are politicians who sit back and do nothing. Don't even bother trying to help with this huge spectacle that really shouldn't be. This literally making a mountain out of an anthill. Not even a molehill, because a molehill ain't ready for this. An anthill, okay? Out of a little tiny, insignificant little dirt mound, we've made Mount Everest, okay? Now with that said, moving forward, parents, maybe you might want to step up to the plate and actually, teach your child, do things like that. Otherwise, you're going to be recycling the same garbage we've had to hear for the past decade and a half, ever since Mortal Kombat really hit the scene. And you want to know something else that really gets on my nerves? People blame video games for turning their children into killers. Well, you want to know what? A lot of these video games came out of Japan, and Japan has a pretty low criminal murder rate, so hey, maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. But when you have data and specs like that, you should pretty much be certain to say, well, maybe we should reevaluate how we handle the video game spectrum. Now, my final point will be this. If you truly believe that video games have a huge impact on the developmental cycle of our children, then games like Speedy Gonzales should be teaching you how to take things and run really, really fast. It should be telling you that Pac-Man is nothing about trying to be obese because you think that you'll just eat and eat and eat and remain the same size. It tells you that Kirby is the same thing. You can become a beast, you can eat what you want, you can eat people, and nothing will happen to you. Everything will just be rah-rah-ree, ho-ho-ho, ha-ha-ha. And that curb-stomping turtles is okay because Mario gets away with it every single day of the week. You see how retarded it sounds when you break it down to a lower level? Yeah. But with that said, I'm the ATL Asherion. Good luck, Ravens. Good luck, Falcons. And we'll see you guys at the Super Bowl. I'm out.